Hello there, you beautiful beings. How are you doing? It is Rosanna here with some Rosy Glow magic, full moon magic just for you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, thank you for subscribing. And for those of you who are new to me, welcome. Those of you who are not so new, welcome back. I really want to offer something this evening that is super healing. Okay, it feels like certainly where we are in the UK, the weather's really drawing in, the winds of change are blowing everywhere, it's cold, there's just this desire to become cozy and warm and sort of start to hibernate. And this time of year is really a time where we want to be taking inwards, drawing inwards, and it's not an expanding time, it's a time where we're processing, we're allowing the old things to die so that new things can be reborn. So this time period now, until we get to the winter solstice, in Europe it's the winter solstice, obviously in Australia it would be the summer solstice, but essentially that's when we get to plant new seeds and we start to build again once we've gone through the composting period. So this full moon in Aries is a hunter's moon. It is known as the hunter's moon, and it is traditionally the time when we would go out hunting and we would find our meat for the winter so that we could actually get through the bleaker months. And it's helpful, I believe, to look very much at the difference between the energy we've just been through. So welcome those who are joining. We had, hey Shivani, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. We had the full moon in Pisces, which was really tough going. For so many people, this was a moon where it felt like things that we dealt with a long, long time ago were back and revisiting us, and the question was why? But actually, when you're dealing with Pisces, you're dealing with being able to review old lessons and just be sure you've taken the lesson from everything, that you are able to understand the blessing, the hidden blessing and everything that has occurred so you can move forward. And then we had the new moon in Libra recently, which for me, I was really sensing as it was the call to evolve the inner masculine, inner feminine, and inner child from the wounded aspects to the divine aspects. But it was also about turning suspiciousness into trust. And it was about how we go through this process of seeing the highest good in someone, feeding the aspect in them that can change, rather than holding them prisoner to a way of being that they're not anymore. And we can all have the best intentions, but there will always be people in our lives that rub us up the wrong way, and they're the toughest teachers. But essentially what they're doing is they're gifting us the opportunity to be able to see where we are at conflict with the things we say we want. So, you know, we want to live as a non-judgmental being, but we have to accept that as humans we have judgments, and when those judgments come up, what's important is to be able to witness them, to bring compassion to them, to love them up, and not to suppress them so that or project them so that they have influence over us. And this is the path of the conscious co-creator. So it's a little bit of a synopsis really in what our work is, because with this full moon in Aries, we're at the start of a new journey. And I found with the new moon like 2 weeks ago, it was a real baptism of fire. And I actually think there's been such strong energies going on since we had the eclipse corridor in July, that we're really going to see the shifts that have gone on since July come the spring, come 9 months from then, really. And it's like it's allowing a new gestation. So if you think about it, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's like in the tarot deck, it's the Fool beginning on a new journey. But the way we can see ourselves is humanity is like one collective consciousness, one soul consciousness that has evolved. So it's now evolving into the next phase, the next seed of consciousness. So we start a new journey, but we have with us lots of new tools. We have with us information, insights, wisdom, deepening of understandings that we didn't have at the start of the journey last year, or the year before that, or the year before that, or this lifetime. So part of the way that you allow yourself to keep focusing on what you want to grow is to bring wonder to where you would normally judge. And I particularly wanted to focus on discernment as a concept for this full moon, because discernment is a quality that my wonderful teacher Susanna Kennedy talks about as an aspect of compassion. And sometimes it can seem a bit odd to say that, but discernment allows you to recognize that there is some suffering that we all go through, and then there is suffering that we bring upon ourselves, and then there is suffering that is very much down to keeping old stories alive. And there's been this opportunity to heal ancestral stories of late, really, really big time. And this is in uncertain times. You know, I've seen so many people understand the theory of being a co-creator or a conscious being on this planet, interacting with their reality and therefore shaping it consciously, which is what co-creating means. But when a situation occurs that triggers a fear response in them, they literally forget everything they know. And I see this with my coaching clients all the time. I see it with graduates of my programs when they're hitting something new, new territory. And so they don't know how to deal with this and they forget they have the tools. So I wrote quite a few notes because I wanted to give you some things to think about. And it's probably a good idea at this point just to do a little cacao toast, because I've got my cacao here. And I'm going to just give you a few things to ponder. I intend to keep this brief today because I feel really tired and I want to crawl into bed. And it feels like this would be a wonderful meditation for people to be able to take to bed with them and to cozy up. So if you've got your cacao nearby, please grab it. And also I wanted to share with you my crystals. So last new moon, I was talking about obsidian and how helpful obsidian is in anchoring the light in the darkness. Okay, so we're all learning to bring our soul light into the places that we perceive are dark. And, you know, I'm just reminded that this is the first time I've offered this full moon meditation on YouTube for free. It was usually a paid for event, but I'm excited about creating more of a community online and giving you the opportunity to sow seeds, which is what we do with the new moons, and then to really deeply clear the resistance to those seeds manifesting with the full moons. So hopefully this will give you a chance to see how you can work even with these just these energies, the new and the full moon, in your life to anchor some rhythm, some connection to nature. Obsidian's here. What I've added to it for this full moon is clear quartz, okay? And it's like, for me, the yin and the yang, I'm really needing the two at the moment to hold me in balance in myself. And this is where we don't deny any aspect of our being, but we decide which bits of us we are going to put in the spotlight. And of course, you know, you can decide on an aspect of yourself to go into the spotlight, and then there'll be parts of you that really resist that. So bringing that to light is part of the journey of us moving out of being blocked and being in a state where things aren't working out for us, to feeling the unblocking of the flow and then being able to actually see things working. And there's been a big connection between the maternal nurture aspect and money of late and prosperity. And I would say I've just literally finished a Deepak Chopra prosperity abundance 21-day challenge. And it's been amazing what it's kind of brought together for people, especially people who've done the deeper working with me and seeing how they take these lessons into their day-to-day life. But, you know, one thing that I've really found through taking part in this has been the consciousness of co-creating, the aspect of you being in yourself and going, right, I am now focusing on the abundant flow of all the things in my life that I want. And this is very much connected to how nurtured we felt by our mothers and how let down we felt by our mothers. So welcome those who are joining. And so this is the key, is that if you feel like the mother connection has been a double-edged sword, it's kind of been giving with the one hand but taking with the other, we're going to be suspicious of abundance, of prosperity, of flow, of the better it gets, the better it gets. And yet living in that slipstream, it's a very powerful thing, and it's unnerving for people around you. You know, I get this a lot with my partner at the moment. It's like, oh, you know, you guys you're always so happy, you look like you're having so much fun. And it's like, well, we are. But this is our norm because we've done a lot of working through crappy relationship patterns and our own shadow self before we got together. And we're getting to have a lot of fun. And now we're glad that we did the hard work without being together, so we didn't have to take it out on each other. But, you know, in that process, there's been a lot of people along the way that got it taken out of from me, and vice versa for him. And I think this is the thing, is hindsight's a great teacher. And that's why being compassionate, being forgiving is really important. And discernment is valuable. And when you look at the fact that there are paths that can be easier to follow and paths that are harder. And it really is our choice as to which way we go. And when you recognise that, then you'll see where you don't feel you have a choice. So before going any further, let's do the little cacao toast, and then I'll read those questions out. And I'm going to take us into meditation sooner rather than later. You're going to bring your hands up to your heart if you haven't got cacao, or just bring the cacao cup up to your mouth, your lips. And take a moment to connect to your heart center. Just allow yourself to slow down and take a breath. And with the beautiful full moon glowing upon us, you can invite that full moon to descend upon you, so that you are now surrounded by the moon. And this is a representation of your sphere of compassion and the potential healing frequencies of our moon. So allow yourself to soften your skin. Allow yourself to soften your face. Allow yourself to feel safe in this sphere of compassion, this beautiful full moon in Aries, so that we can take the best and transmute the rest. And this is where we invite Mama Cacao into our practice, into this meditation. So welcome yourself to drop into your heart, to give your mind permission to be a witness, to observe, to record information, to let go of needing to perceive everything from the old narrative, the old lens. And again, giving yourself permission just to lengthen your out-breath, slow everything down, come fully into this moment. So unplugging from just before, just after, and whatever else has been on your mind. Smile in your heart, a golden smile. And welcome the spirit of the cacao medicine, the cacao plant, into your meditation, into our collective meditation. That we may each receive the epiphanies, the insights, those aha moments that allow us to see where we can bring greater balance and harmony into our own lives. And see yourself now bathing in a light fall of golden, beautiful energy. So sunlight energy pouring down through the crown of your head, but also flowing from your heart outwards. Just moving into the sphere around you, so it's like the moon becomes the sun, but also cascading down upon the planet. So you now have your own earth chakra being activated, and feeling your connection to the crystalline grid fire up. It's like a golden grid around the earth. Beautiful. And breathe into your heart again. And gently bring yourself back. And have some cacao. Drink away. And I will share with you these notes. So if you've got a notebook and pen, if you've got crystals, these are going to all come in useful. And I have a mudra to share with you today, which is basically you bring your hands together and then you wrap the middle finger, ring finger and little finger down. And then you have the index fingers and the thumbs like so. And so what you do is you point the thumbs to your solar plexus, which is just belly button. Yeah, like that. And then the index fingers up. And this is for divine inspiration, because for us to really let go and let God, and for us to surrender our wounded selves to our divine selves, we have to call in divine intelligence. We have to call in a divine wisdom. We have to align with the highest good of all. And I actually think about Brexit as I say this, because obviously I keep seeing adverts everywhere for the fact that we're 3 weeks away from Brexit happening. And there is so much confusion and so many strong emotions in this country about what's right and what's wrong, and about whether we should be getting an opportunity to vote again or not, and what's truly democratic and what isn't. But there's so much fear of the unknown, so much fear of what this is going to mean and how terrible it's going to be. And the invitation is to remember that collectively we have blind spots. So when we're in new territory, it's important to start to envisage what we would like it to mean, what positives we would like to take, what are the changes we want to see, and to focus our attention there. So if you can imagine that you have to find a solution, you can't find it in that problem space, okay? You're not going to find it from endlessly worrying. You're not going to find it from making yourself suffer. You're going to find the solution by dropping out of the mental chatter and allowing yourself to connect to the infinite source within you, which is your higher self, it's your co-creative self. And so when you actually bear that in mind and you connect up, you can allow yourself to download the perception, the information, the access to the solutions rather than the problems. But we do need an honest dialogue with what we fear, what we are concerned about, what we do feel difficult not to judge, what we are, what perspective shifts we have that are limiting. And this is this fun co-creation aspect of life where we can actually keep looking at the things that we feel stuck with and broaden our perspective on them. And that's what this meditation is going to be about. So briefly speaking, many of you are working from well, anyone who's been doing coaching work with me will have activated their 6-pointed star, their Merkaba field. And depending on the depth of work you've done, you're on your way from that activated 6-pointed star to then it changing its formation to being a diamond shape as the 2 triangles separate and the base is joined together. And this is a sign of the integration of the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us, which is essential if we want to have healthy relationships with our partners, and also preparation for being conscious parents as well. And that's where I see a lot of my fertility clients having to do the work to grow in that space. Now, if we said the full moon in Pisces is about healing old wounds, and that was last month, we were having to love up our wounded healer, the part of us that's so hell-bent on saving others and helping others, whatever that means to you, that we neglect ourselves. And to actually redefine that relationship with ourselves and our self-care was really, really important. Now, as I said, this full moon in Aries is the start of a new journey, a new adventure. There's enthusiasm and thirst for adventure, but we're wiser now about things that can come up and how to heal them. So that's what's so exciting about this new cycle. We've had this opportunity and it's been emotionally tough for so many people. We've been physically unwell. We've been faced with challenges we don't normally have. And it has really been about resilience. It's been about seeing where we break and where we're strong, and being curious about that, because that teaches us where to move next, where to work next. So the opportunity for ancestral healing has been prominent for a while now, but particularly the fight or flight response, which is the sympathetic nervous system response in our body's homeostasis, which is actually our response to the perception of fear or a danger. And we are 4th generation super active fight-flight response. So most of us, the norm is to have the sympathetic nervous system triggered too much of the time. And this is causing, the anxiety, the depression, the sleep issues, the panic attacks, the thyroid issues. This is all linked to a nervous system, both in the individual and the collective, that is out of sync. So this mudra, which is called Uttara Bodhi mudra, is really, really good for resetting your connection to the divine spark within you, and also your divine circuitry, your higher self, and just to move out of the stuff within you that short circuits. This is like a lightning bolt that really helps us. And it allows us to cut through the trauma of the past and to actually reconnect to a time where, one way to really help you understand the ego and the fight or flight response is that ego is just programming. It's having an experience early in your life for the first time, and making assumptions about that experience. So maybe, you know, you were wearing yellow shoes and there was a particular song on the radio, and, you know, I'm trying to give you a good example of this. Basically, you make a connection between the yellow shoes and the song being on as the reason why you tripped over and hurt your head. It was because, you know, the combination of the yellow shoes and the radio, the song, the two together were what caused you. When you hear this song and there's yellow shoes around, this is what will cause you to fall over. But that's a misunderstanding of what actually happened. The way that things were related to each other were different. It was nothing to do with the song. Maybe the shoe was too big for you and you tripped over because you were wearing the wrong size shoes. There's so many different ways of interpreting things. And as children, when we're learning things for the first time, our perception is very limited. It's very important to remember that. But that limited perception is what runs our lives as adults. And that's what we're learning to evolve at the moment. So on the one hand, learning what the ego is and being okay with the ego is really, really important, because it's there. It's not going to go away. It's just bringing light to where those old programs are still running your experience of life, and changing that when it comes up. And that's what tuning into the divine mind is so powerful, and we're able to do. And it's what we're now doing with healing our nervous systems, because we're able to utilize tools to heal ourselves from the trauma of previous generations. And this is an exciting time to be alive, where we can really do that for our past, our present, and our future. So a couple of questions I had for you to write down and ponder are: what do you know now that you didn't know then? So when you're dealing with fears of old issues coming up again, so maybe you have not had an eating disorder for years, but you have had sort of some sense that it might start up again because some warning signals are there to say this is what happened last time, this is how you started to go down a slippery slope, for example. And the question I would always ask you when you're fearful of something coming back to haunt you again, something coming up that you feel you've learned, or you've got past and you don't want it to have power over you anymore, is to ask the question, what do you know now that you didn't know then? And what tools do you now have that you didn't have then? So if you ask those questions to yourself, it will really help. And I'm seeing a lot of conflict in desires with my clients in particular. So I'm seeing where the reason that they're not getting the result they want, so whether it's being pregnant this month, or attracting new love into their lives, or something that they really, really want, it is because they know that they're going to have to give up something else that has been deeply ingrained for a very, very long time, a belief about themselves, or perhaps something that is very important to them as well. And the only way to access it is through having the current struggle. So if that struggle goes away, then they're not going to have access to a coping mechanism, let's say, or to a way of dealing with a challenge I'm trying to think of a really good way of putting this for you so it makes sense. So let's just say that you really want a new relationship, but in having a new relationship, what's going to happen is you are going to have to let go of the fact that your marriage to your previous partner who died is over. Like, you're going to let someone else into your life. So you really, really do want someone to come in. But at the same time, you find it's a betrayal to the marriage that you had to be able to even think about opening to love. So you're in conflict with yourself, and your logical mind can say, yeah, no, it's absolutely okay for me to meet someone else now. My partner died. I didn't leave them. That, you know, this is what happened. They want me to be happy. But if you're still attached to the marriage vows, and you believe more in the fact that actually you shouldn't actually have to be with someone else, because your marriage vows mean till death do us part, and you don't want to actually have another relationship because you feel it's against you, then you're going to be in this position where you're pushing away the very thing that you say that you want. And we all do this one way or another, because we feel a loyalty towards something that, again, is a misperception that's holding us back. It's a limiting perception. And if you can just use this full moon to bring light to where you're doing this to yourself, where you're scared of letting something go, where you feel like on some level you're wrong to want what you want, you will really, really have a big breakthrough. Because we we tend to only feel desires are valuable if we're thinking about the world at large and making the world a better place. And we've been taught that having selfish desires, having desires purely to gratify our own, sense of self is not okay. It's not valuable. And certainly as we're becoming more conscious as a collective, there can be a lot of judgment in the consciousness circles about who's really doing it and who's not doing it and who's paying lip service. So again, the invitation is just to meet everything with kindness, everything with love, and to practice your own discernment as to where you're going to go, what you're going to expose yourself to, what you're going to align with. And what you don't know enough about, just admit that to yourself. You don't need to have the definitive answer. You can just ask for divine guidance and be shown, ask to be shown what you need to see. There's a lot more about letting go here. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to talk about was the seed is, I am a pure being intending the highest good, even when I selfishly pursue my own pleasure. So, you're allowed to want to have time off. You're allowed to, dare I say it, go out and be hungover the next day. You're allowed to have a meal that makes you feel bloated. You're allowed to do all sorts of things that have repercussions. The main thing is, if you're going to beat yourself up every time you make a choice that isn't the best choice overall, but is the choice you most want to make now, you might as well not bother making that choice. So being at peace with the choices you make and making the best choice you can in any moment is essential. And what we're also inviting now is heart healing and stoking of the divine desire fire. So I want you to give yourself permission to have all the things you say you want. And don't worry about the details. There will be key things in your life that you really want right now, that are going to make life much easier for you. And whatever they are, even if it's starting with the feeling of, I just want to feel safe. I want to feel safe in myself. Well, that desire then becomes an acknowledgement of something that's already there. I am safe, and I am looking for evidence of that safety. And when I come across something that says I'm not safe, I know this is just resistance. I know this is just fear coming up for me to meet it with love. And when you approach everything this way, you'd be surprised how you can keep applying the formula again and again. It's like, okay, let's bring out the qualities of compassion again. Let's have compassion for myself first. Let's have compassion for those who are also involved in this. So I'm going to leave the chatter there, and I'm going to get us into this meditation. If you want to rub your hands together, have a little shake, and bring one hand to your heart. Have your crystals nearby, because you're going to do a little cleanse for them as well. And just allow yourself to breathe into this heart space, into this opportunity for deep healing. So as we awaken our own superconscious, we will be doing this on behalf of the collective and the individuals. So our personal healing becomes a planetary healing tonight as well. Just for a moment, allow yourself to feel the support of the universe around you. Remember the sphere that's surrounding you. And just allow yourself to drop into the space of relaxing the boundaries of the skin. Allowing the hair on the back of your neck to calm down. Eyebrows relax. And speaking now to the heart directly, the divine essence in us all, please repeat after me. I am all that is. I am the one self I am. I am that I am. I am unity consciousness. I am source consciousness. I am the source of my creations. I am the creator of my reality. I am a multi-dimensional being of love and light. I am sovereign. I am free. I am aligning with the win-win-win in everything. I am always co-creating the highest good of all. I am divine grace and ease. I am co-creating my personal paradise. I am that I am. Beautiful work. So you can release your hand from your heart now. Hold on to your crystals. And again, I'll say a little prayer to cleanse them on your behalf. You can either join in or just hear me say these words and claim them as your truth too. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am the source of my creations. I am a multidimensional being of love and light. I am cleansing these crystals now to renew their power so they may bring peace and harmony and benefit humankind. I command that all lower frequency energy be taken to where it can be transmuted into pure love and light, so that only the purest vibrations of love and light exist within these crystals for the highest good of all, and so it is. Just allow yourself to take a few breaths. Now you've got a choice here. You can place your crystals either in the palms of your hands and actually just work with their energy, or place the crystals right in the hip creases so that you've got them nice and close to you, and you can work with this mudra. Again, reminding you from prayer pose to wrap the little fingers, ring fingers and middle fingers down. So you have the index fingers and the thumbs connecting to each other. Thumbs pointing down towards your solar plexus and index fingers up towards the sky. And this is really about this lightning bolt, this connection to divine mind. So allow this idea that I am co-creating the win-win-win in everything. I am always co-creating the highest good of all. Just allow yourself to align with this truth and to willingly release and clear any and all resistance to being aligned with the win-win-win in everything and co-creating the highest good of all. And the way we're going to do it is to remind ourselves that the sphere of compassion that surrounds us is a holographic sphere. So that means that if you were to look at any wall of the sphere, you'd see it's made of trillions of little spheres, concentric spheres, all spinning on their own axis. And they're spinning to the frequency of compassion. And with the full moon surrounding you, this energy that is within this sphere is bringing forth the healing qualities of the full moon in Aries. We're allowing this time now to give us the illuminated space to release the resistance to being aligned with the highest good of all and the win-win-win in everything. So feel the moonlight pouring down through the crown of your head. And feel it moving through your pelvic floor, through your body, around the planet into the center of the earth. And you can pull it back up through your body and feel it emanating out from your heart and out through the crown of your head. Just allow yourself now, as you've made the connection, to release from your cellular, molecular, atomic and subatomic memory, from the waves and particles of the quantum field and photon stream, from the physical, etheric, emotional, mental and astral bodies, any and all known and unknown, inherited and directly experienced fears, beliefs, miasms, attitudes, perceptions, traumas, that would make us believe that the world isn't safe, that we are selfish creatures that are not aligning with the win-win-win and everything, or the highest good of all, and left to our own devices, we want nothing but what's good for us and screw everyone else. I want you just to relax your arms down. You can release the mudra if you wish, or keep using it. And just allow yourself to feel the density within the physical nature of your being, releasing the resistance, releasing the thought patterns, the beliefs, the stories that keep active, limited experiences in your own life. So particularly thinking about the things in our lives that we most want that seem to evade us, don't seem to come to us easily. It's letting go of the attachment to these things on the one hand, letting go of the needing to know why things aren't working out the way you want them to just yet. Just allowing the feeling of what is there to speak to you, to allow you to witness where there are things within you that don't resonate with what you truly want, that are scared of you having it. And I particularly invite you to release any resistance towards divine desire, to the fact that the things you want, whether they're something from your Argos catalogue to, flying to the moon and back, that you're allowed to have things that you want. Remember, it's the feeling that you're seeking to experience that you believe the experience will give you or the object will give you. It's the feelings we want to anchor into. So letting go of the feeling of suspiciousness, letting go of the need to hold counsel, to count things up, to be the one that is judge. And just allow yourself to release that responsibility. So what you're doing is that this is all permeating out of your skin into the energy field around you, and the pulsing energy of the moon around you is clearing out that density as it comes out of you, and it's bringing it into a healthier space, into a purified energy field. And really allow yourself to feel like you're like an acupuncture needle connected to your earth chakra, connected to the crystalline grid around the planet, feeding this energy through so you're taking what you need and leaving the rest behind. Not causing a block. Just utilizing what you need and passing the rest on to the others, the surplus. Just feel the energy field being cleared. Feel the energy of the moon soothing and healing. And now creating a sphere in front of your face that is a replica sphere of what we were just working with. And placing within this sphere the need to understand things in order to feel safe. Placing within the sphere any conflict in the desires you have. Placing in the sphere any beliefs around the fact that it is selfish to pursue your own pleasure. And just allow that sphere to start to spin. Allow yourself to let go of the fear of being seen, of speaking up for what you want and need. And just feel now you're going through a deeper cleanse, releasing everything into that sphere. You've done a lot of cleansing in your energy field anyway. And now releasing these deeper, more toxic forms of resistance, where we don't believe we're pure beings that are intending the highest good, when we believe that we're inherently bad. If people knew the truth about us, they wouldn't like us. Or they wouldn't judge, they wouldn't respect us the way they do. This is the fear of being seen. We're all human, divine humans. Now, as that sphere spins faster and faster, if you have got strong opinions about anything like Brexit, please put them in there as well. Any judgments about anything, really. You know, the judgments we hold towards ourselves and towards others, just let yourself acknowledge those judgments and put them in the sphere. And remember, big events and personal events, it's all the same gravy. You know, it's like just put in what matters to you. Beautiful. Now, bringing down the pure, clear flame of infinite love. So you just claim it by stating it. I am infinite love. I am infinite love. I am infinite love. And then like a clear quartz or a Fox's glacier mint, a pure, clear, translucent energy moves down through the body. Beautiful. Moves down around the planet. And then into the sphere. So pull it back up through your body and from your heart into the sphere in front of you. Just love up all of that stuff. All of the judgment, the suspiciousness. The conflict in desires, the fear of actually having what you want, because what it's then going to make you responsible for. And you know, one sure way to actually start getting what you want is to put yourself in the place where you've got it. You'll then see how ready for it you are. So what plans have you made to deal with whatever you have, or, you know, your new relationship or the baby that you want? Like, let's take you to the place that you already are at, the place that you're not yet. So you've got the new person in your life, or you're pregnant, or you've got the new job, or you've moved house. What would you need to do then? What would you need to organise to be able to allow you to continue to have that thing that you have wanted? And take yourself there. Really takes you out of the not having. Beautiful work. Okay, so now, as that sphere is full of pure, clear, liquid love light, bring down now the soft pink flame of divine love, divine grace. Ooh, instant. Into that sphere, allowing us to let go easily of what no longer serves us. And then, as you feel that soft pink and the pure, clear love light merging together, we bring down the rose gold flame. The rose gold flame is particularly about environmental pollution, toxic emotions, electromagnetic frequency pollution, radio waves, microwaves, everything that's going on with 5G, all the things that we're worried about, chemtrails, you name it. So the rose gold flame is like our antidote to all of the environmental pollutants that exist. And that's as important for our oceans and our own personal, our water supply, our bodies need to feel purified. So this is for the collective and the individual as well, to remember how important that is. Just to allow that deep cleansing. And we're going to allow this, rose gold flame to come through. So just allow yourself to claim it by saying, I am the rose gold flame, I am the rose gold flame, I am the rose gold flame. And it'll come moving all the way down into your earth chakra, into the earth. It will explode like a beautiful bomb of rose gold and open up so that it kind of goes from the center out, firing up the crystalline grid and then back up through your body and into the sphere in front of you. So just let that sphere become as big as it needs to be. You've got clear light, soft pink light, rose gold light in there. And it's super fast, super spinning, super fast. When you're ready to step into this, because this is a new energy you have created, out of the resistance, out of the stuff that was too difficult to shake, out of the patterns that it seems are beyond you. Lovely. And now, create a rainbow bridge from your heart into that sphere. And as you create that bridge, the sphere expands around you, becomes as big as the full moon that was already around you. Just allow yourself to feel what this rose gold and full moon energy working together is about, because you're just allowing a gentle detoxification of stuff. It can be in your organs, it can be in your blood, be in your energy field. It's the stuff that makes you heavy, laden. So we want to enter into winter with a light load, right? We don't want to enter into winter constipated. We want to feel light and able at the same time to stock up what we need to. But we're not stuck. We're well stocked. Good. So as you feel this rose gold energy around you, I am aligning with the win-win-win in everything. I am co-creating the highest good of all, always co-creating the highest good of all. I am divine desire. I am awakening my divine desire fire. All of my desires are holy. Just allowing yourself to actually feel all of this. And welcoming the vibration as you feel the rose gold settle into you, what it feels like to be at that place you'd like to be, that you're not quite there yet. And it might be that you see a room finished in your house that isn't done yet and you want it to see it done. But whatever matters to you, play with big things, small things, it doesn't matter. How about for Brexit, we all feel really good about the decisions that have been reached. And whatever the decisions are, they are for the highest good of all and continue to play out and show us that, evidence of that. Beautiful. Now asking that question, how can I be part of the solution? Turning that, quite justified anger into compassion, into the willingness to serve the highest outcomes. But that does mean to bring light to ignorance as well. Beautiful work, everyone. So now just taking a moment to know that what you have done for yourself, you're doing for all the people on the planet, and you're doing for the body of Gaia as well, for our beautiful planet. So you just check in with how she's feeling, as in you move through your body. You're like, how is this all feeling? How's it feeling for the collective? How's it feeling for me? This is really good, this mudra as well. What do I call it? Ratna Bodhi mudra. No, Uttara Bodhi mudra, sorry. For stimulating the metal element, but it's very good and calming for the nervous system. Okay, so a way to really go with this is, it's like a fire starter, a divine fire starter. There you go. That lightning bolt. So awakening the divine desire in your heart, trusting that you're allowed to want things, and take yourself into the place where you already have them. So you just to feel for a moment that you already have the things that you're asking for, whatever they may be, big or small. And feel that celebration. Yeah. Beautiful work. So now we're just going to anchor this. So I'm commanding an axotonal alignment with the highest good of all, with the win-win-win in everything. And then send an anchor from your heart deep into the center of the earth. And slowly start to breathe yourself back. And please repeat after me. I command this process continues until completion. Anchor, anchor, anchor. Recalibrate, align. Balance and harmonize. The graceful and gentle. Integration, expression, and manifestation. In my physical reality and in all dimensions that are relevant in all space and time. And so it is, and so it shall be. So start to breathe yourself back, breathing in through the soles of your feet, breathing in through your pelvic floor, breathing down through your bodies, feeling that golden, beautiful rose gold light, bringing down that soft pink light, bringing down the infinite love light, just feeling these high frequencies bathing you, filling your whole sphere of compassion, knowing you've transmuted by releasing from your physical into the sphere that which no longer serves you. And then we've gone deeper by taking it into an extra sphere we've created and taking that deeper resistance and loving it up. So feel your brothers and sisters, feel the huge sphere that surrounds us all. Feel the sphere around the planet that is also active to catch everything that's being released that isn't serving the highest good of all. We are all so powerful. We are doing this together. It is wonderful. And if you would like to join me to do some deep inner work, then it's definitely a good time to be booking your breakthrough calls now, because I've got my next round of Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me going to be starting probably the beginning of November. I'm looking to extend it a little bit. So the beginning of November, and this will take us through to February. So if you want 16 weeks to transform your life, and there will be a bit of a break over Christmas as well, so 2 weeks over, so it'll be about 18 weeks. This is such a powerful reset of your earliest imprints to allow everything in your life to change as you want it to by recognizing where the blocks are. So if you know you're up for that and you want to do some deep diving, I take a maximum of 5 participants in my group coaching, and it all starts with a breakthrough call. So please book your breakthrough call. You can do that through rosieglow.com. They're £100, and if you decide that you would like to work with me and do my group or one-to-one coaching, then the cost of the call will be taken off the cost of the course. So I'll leave that there with you. I send you so much love. Thank you again for joining me in this. Let me know your feedback. Let me know how this sets you up, because this energy now is to support you and to help you to feel like you're thriving, because you've identified the shadow stuff that's come up in the last couple of weeks. So now this is a time of being able just to let it all go, so that with the next new moon, we've got new seeds to plant, and we can really allow ourselves to let old stories die and to feel as though we have mastered that which we were mastering the month before. So I'm going to leave it there. Loads and loads of love. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all of the things you do to help this keep going and to become bigger. So thank you for sharing with those of like mind and heart. Take care. Have a great one. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks for the new moon co-creation meditation. Bye.